How about those people that were scammed out of money because they thought they were dating somebody, and it turned out to be somebody in some other country? I can see that. I haven't seen stats on it, but I'm sure if there were stats on it, I'm sure that's skyrocketed too. Like you think they're real people, so you're sending them your money. I mean, don't do that unless you know them and you have a relationship with them. It's kind of like also the scam where they're calling you and it sounds like your child or your grandchild's on the other line. I mean, it's crazy how much AI. I was in a network meeting the other day and he showed us his assistant and she looks just as real can be. I mean, other than being able to tell with the mouth moving and I kept going, she's not blinking enough for me.
Yeah.
Right. She wasn't blinking enough for me. But I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine like dating and somebody putting that up there of them and like, yeah, this is me. And, I can't wait to see you. And I'm like going, oh my gosh, like there's gotta be, developing questions. I like what you were saying. It might be, who was the guy, the comedian said, you might need a sign, you might need the sign, Bill. I can't think of his name now, but it might be the sign that you need that says, well, if they can't, respond to you in a way that
I'm good to see you again. Had to walk out to let you back in. Stuck in a storm of a relationship. Lost my fire. Oh, and I forgot about me for way too long. But it's rolled on. Now there ain't no shade around here. Once you leave.
they're not looking for that, and so I also like what I want to go back to what you touched about at the beginning too, is like coming back to the dinner table, because I think AI is worse than social media right now for our kids because there's so much, we have our kids right now that are coming, our kids that started school during COVID that had no social interaction.
Yeah.
So they're not sure how to socialize. So they're using AI to learn to socialize. And what's happening is these people are coming in and, they're getting online and like even Roblox. I'm seeing a lot of stuff with Roblox happening right now. And even with the parental parameters on there, and somebody shared a story where their daughter was speaking to this young man. They saw the picture of him. He looks like a great young man. Conversations are going well. And then all of a sudden they had the, I don't know what they didn't have these back when my kids were growing up, but they had these parental blocks you can put on to notify you when something's not right. So if you're not doing things to stay involved, get involved. If you're not doing things like screen time with your kids, get involved. And the sad thing is now they're doing AI at school. And let's face it, our teachers have enough on their plate to have to monitor these kids be on AI. I mean, they're giving them back their phones in the classroom, which I don't agree with because I literally did presentations for teachers and watched these kids just looking at their phones and not paying attention to you. And, I've stopped doing that because of that. But I mean, to think that you're going to go and have a relationship and you're going to start the dating world or you're dating, and people think also they're like, I heard somebody talk about how they're just dating an AI bot because they want a relationship. Like, that's not true human interaction. And like you said, we lose that touch and then you sit in a house or four walls of your home and you never get any interaction. And that's just not what God wants for you. I'm just going to say that right there. That's not what he wants for us.
All right, absolutely. And you brought up some unbelievable points and all this, and it's going to get worse. But the good news is schools are eliminating phones to go in even in the classroom now. A lot of school districts now are taking phones and putting them into a box, not to start the day. They should have done that years ago. Even when I was teaching, I said, why were there cell phones in the classroom? I think the AI probably is where the end point happened because everyone would go on their phones. AI would answer the questions. There would be no teaching available because everyone would use AI to answer the questions.
Right.
But this goes back to, so I think this is why. But I also think that certain rights were removed from kids in the classroom, like it or don't like it, that probably were protected by the U.S. Department of Education.
Yep.
I'm just saying. And the schools are using it, their power to say, guess what? You come in the classroom, no phones. So this is something that have a no phone rule when you're at dinner. They shouldn't have a phone and have that conversation about AI. Because if you're not keeping up with technology, parents, you're done. You're finished.
100%.
Because those kids will wrap you around their finger once they understand AI further.
And give them a chance to figure out how to wrap their mom and dad around their finger. Oh my God. Not only you argue with a teenager, but you're arguing with AI.
Yeah. Because then they're going to say, how can I win this argument? Or how can I do this? But you're not going to see measures like it because it's impossible.
Yeah.
AI makes mistakes constantly. It hallucinates constantly. So if you go ahead and allow people to have the free version or whatever version of AI, it's scary. And just
Yeah.
go figure if they're trying something that's overseas.
Oh,
So
Lord help us.
yeah. So this whole dating thing, I mean, the relationships. When are relationship coaches like yourself, who's and I also shout out to Dr. Gilda Carl. When are you guys going to get together and start to really start a whole community to let people know don't use AI as your dating? Don't use AI. Don't be afraid to go into relationships, but really put more work into it. If you put work into your job, if you put work into this, coming easily and just dating somebody is not what you need to do. You need to put the work in to find the right person. And it's going to take time.
Yeah, one of the things I love to do with my clients, and I love that you just gave me ideas, like we should do a collaborative thing together. But one of the things that I do, and people think I'm quite crazy, so I'll tell you a funny story, and it still carries today. When I work with my clients, I ask them, what do you want from that other person in a relationship? Like, what are their ethics? What do they look like? What do they do? Are they married before? Do they have kids? Like, I ask them all those questions, and they kind of look at me like, why do you want to know? I'm like, well, why aren't you asking yourself these questions? Like, you need to know that when you're going to go out dating. I could tell you back in the day when I did before I met Chuck, my dad was in the service. I love service people. And thank you so much for service. But I watched what my mom went through. So if somebody was in the service, I was like, thank you very much. But that's not a relationship want to be invested in, because there's a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice. And so I talk about all these things, like what, ethics, the whole thing I just shared. And so then I make them go draw me a picture of what this person looks like. Now, funny story, one of my clients at the time, she was working on her health and wellness. And she's like, what's that got to do with my weight loss? I said, well, you came in here and said you want to lose weight because you want to meet somebody. You could do any diet in the world you want to do, and you're going to lose weight if you do it right. However, if you don't have the tools and the mindset to look and manifest the person you want in your life, that's never going to happen. And so fast forward a few months after she completed the program, I'm in the grocery store. She's like, oh my gosh, Pro, come meet this person. And I went over and I looked at him and I go, I met you before. He's like, well, how do you know? I'm like, ask her how I know. But he looked just like what she described, the picture, everything. So that's one of the things that I do is I sit down and we talk about, first of all, what's your joy? What do you want in your life? And who do you want? What do they look like? What does it look like? How does it feel? What's the language you want around you? And then we start working on that. And there's a lot to be said about manifestation. I always talk about don't put something in the world that you don't want, because like with Big Brother, manifestation comes around. So that's what I would say start with is like the pros and cons of a relationship. What do you want? Do you want somebody who communicates well or not? Do you want somebody who is stable in their income or not? So ask yourself all those questions and then start looking for that person, because that person will come into your life when you start watching and paying attention to what's around you.
All right. Best place to go.
wsliving.com.
All right. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show.
All clean. Why'd it take